Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of One Night in Mongkok, a Hong Kong crime thriller from 2004 that stars Daniel Wu, Cecilia Cheung, and Alex Fong. It was directed by Derek Yee, who also gave us Viva Erotica from 1996, Lost in Time from 2003, Shinjuku Incident from 2009, and Swordmaster from 2016, just to name a few. Now, the following plot synopsis was paraphrased from the website Asian Movie Web. The death of a gang member by the hand of a member of a rival gang raises tension in the streets of Mongkok. Officer Milo, played by Alex Fong, wants to defuse the situation before a gang war breaks out. However, Tim, the boss of one of the gangs, wants to get rid of Carl, the boss of the rival gang, by hiring a young hitman, played by Daniel Wu, who is lacking in experience, but he's willing to do the job. The hitman befriends the prostitute Dan, played by Cecilia Cheung, who offers to serve as a tour guide for money. The night in Mongkok becomes a dangerous chasing game, at which end only one last confrontation can decide about the fate of the involved parties. So, One Night in Mongkok is a little bit different from your typical crime thriller. So, if you were to compare this to something from, say, Dante Lam, like The Stool Pigeon or The Bee Stalker, for example, this one comes off as less kinetic and a lower octane. You know, most of the film does have that crime thriller subgenre of cinema in it, but there are some slower patches at times that focus on the friendly bonding between Daniel Wu and Cecilia Cheung's characters. Most fortunately, though, we have a legit director in Derek Yee who is able to craft a fairly compelling series of events and even some solid character interaction. Now, the biggest positive, in my opinion, is the storytelling progression in this one. You know, some of the plot developments are somewhat unexpected here. You know, overall, the gang rivalry itself is kind of pushed to the back burner, and it's introduced as like a takeoff point for like the main conflict. But we do not spend a lot of time with either of the rival gang bosses. Instead, the script explores how that conflict impacts people, specifically the hitman, the prostitute, and the cops who are chasing them. It's somewhat unorthodox, but pretty interesting. You know, the story flows very nicely, with events that unfold and feel like a natural progression of the things that came before them. So this is not a movie that's driven by like contrivances or coincidences. It's simply taking a slightly different angle and doing a very good job of it. You're kind of rooting for everyone in this, though, or at the very least, you're not rooting heavily against anyone, which creates some conflicted feelings when the cops and the hitman clash. The filmmakers do a good job of humanizing everyone. You know, Daniel Wu is not an amazing assassin or badass in this movie. He's wily and tough, but very normal and vulnerable as a human being. Even the cops have some critical failures on their end at some points, which adds another dynamic, and it adds some depth as well within their investigation unit. So this film's good quality stuff. But again, do not go into this expecting like a high-octane thrill ride, because that's not what this is. There are a handful of solid, albeit short suspense sequences, certain chases and violent conflicts, like the marketplace hunt, the apartment raid, etc. But this is more of a tempered thriller. With that said, there are a few intense scenes during the final act. All right. Now, as an added bonus, we get lots of nighttime scenes under the neon lights, which I'm always a fan of. So I think One Night in Mongkok holds up well. I have not seen this one in years, and it's good. Good flick. Currently available streaming on iQIYI. It's IQIYI is how you spell the website. It's also available on DVD. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.